Hey Dan, what's up? Good morning. Good morning. A little bit of guitar music for you there. Just a little thing popped into my fingers 2 days ago, and I recorded it, and I thought it was an interesting combination of styles of music. And it's hard to do that at the same time while I'm doing all this, but there it is, a little bit for you. This is the 60 Seconds to Serenity with Gregg Hammond on Friday, January 19, 2018. We are enjoying the 60 Seconds to Serenity as we come into a fantastic Friday. Most of the time, Friday is the end of the week for everybody, and so it's easy to have that be a fantastic Friday. And it is even better if you're using the 60 Seconds to Serenity tools, where you're using your breathing in the slow, the way we've been doing this. If you're someone who has been doing this with us since October, or just over a couple of weeks, the slow, calm breath to achieve the serene mind, where the breath goes in and out, just like a nice calm wave on a beach. Long stretch of sand where those waves come in and they just cruise across the sand and like fizzle out a little bit and then come on back out. So your breathing is like that while you're focusing on your higher mental faculties. Higher mental faculties. It's a tongue twister. Using your higher mental faculties to raise your vibration, keep it high. If you've been doing this for a while, you may have noticed that your vibration is higher more often than it was before you started doing the 60 Seconds to Serenity. And that's the way this works, a little bit at a time, where it starts to grow or build, like anything that you practice. And these 60 Seconds to Serenity episodes in the morning here, these focused education and creative suggestion for you is helping you help you, right? To become a better you. The best thing that you can invest in is becoming better yourself in everything. Your health, your ability to respond, your ability to focus, your ability to study. As you become better at all of these things, you can serve other people in a better way. Meaning that you're somebody that people like to be around more. You're easy to spend time with. You're fun, you're focused. All of these things, right? As you're building a new and better you. And if you have been in a really good place, this is a great way to take it up to another level, because you can always expand. But a lot of times, as somebody comes through the end of the year, there's so much going on with holidays and end of the year stuff that it's easy to hit some bumps and go down, right? And think about, I'm going to make it different as I come into for this new year. I'm going to start off and really make a difference. And then those bumps are still there, right? So the idea of the 60 Seconds to Serenity is that you're able to use these in bite-sized pieces, and little by little you raise your vibration and you make the shift. And the thing about coming into a new year is that with all of the goals that people set and all of the hopes, desires, dreams that are happening, or you think about at the end of the year, or you realize, I didn't set any, or as you come into the first couple weeks, you've stumbled or haven't gotten them started. That the first month is really just trying to get yourself going. You think about like getting onto a bicycle and pedaling that bicycle, the momentum of a wheel. And I talk about the circles, concentric rings, the circles of everything around us. In nature, you see it very often. I talked about this flat stone that I was going to skip across the water. One of the reasons I was going to skip it is because I like to watch the concentric rings when a very flat stone is skipped across the water the right way. You know, and that takes practice, right? To be able to really lay that stone in it's spinning in a circle as it's flying out of your hand, and it's hitting the water, like all this pretty calm water behind me, unless it's frozen. If that's, you know, tropical 82 degrees surf temp, that's what it is. But if it's frozen, it's a frozen lake, and it just looks like an island, but it's actually in a place where it's frozen. Man, that's a frozen solid body of water. But the same kind of thing would happen if I were to skip this across. It would bounce and skip and skip and skip, regardless of whether it's frozen or whether it's not, whether it's 82 degrees surf temp. The stone is going to do the same thing. It's going to spin around and go around in circles, and every time it hits the water and bounces, it is throwing concentric rings. Those circles happen all the time. And in life, we're focusing on creating these circles inside of ourselves, right? The mental thought circle that's going around. As you're doing the 60 seconds Serenity, the idea of the breath and the thoughts of gratitude, focused gratitude, and the thoughts of your empowering statements are shifting, right? I was talking about a carousel in your mind with all the horses on there, and we're working on replacing the non-functional horses that are on the carousel, right? You have all these different horses in there, all these different thoughts. Some of them have been there for longer than you would even know, right? They were something that in early childhood days, people around you were having conversations about how life is really tough, or things about like the parents or the adults talking about what they're gonna plans for what the children will do. You know, it's incredible how much of that just goes right in and sits there with a child's subconscious mind. And then in adult life, you don't even realize it, that those things are on the carousel and they're going around. And as you go through your day and you try to make problem solve, those are these solutions that are in there, right? And you want to replace them and put the ones that are very empowering, right? If there's disempowering statements that are going around in your subconscious mind that you may be aware of and you might not, as we do these exercises, your awareness will build and expand. I've been talking about expanding, right? As it expands, as your awareness expands, you may hear you may realize, wow, I just had this very disempowering thought. It is what it is. Harvest the good and say, wow, I just became aware that this disempowering thought has been going through my mind a couple of times. And then with acknowledging that, with the awareness of, hey, that just happened, you will see where the empowering thoughts that we're talking about start to replace those disempowering thoughts. And that's the carousel inside your mind there, inside your subconscious. It's continually going around like the atoms or a universe, right? Round and round. It's an orbit. And you probably have noticed that you think the same thing. If you've caught one of these, if you've had one of those aha moments where you say, I just had a disempowering thought, and that is a disempowering thought that has been occurring and appearing in my mind, you've had an aha moment where you're like, let's grab that non-functioning thought on the carousel in our mind and take it away and put in a new one, replace it. So the 60 seconds to Serenity if you're doing these exercises, right, and using these tools that I'm sharing, this is part of it is building your awareness, but this is doing that for you. And you have to trust the process and know that if you keep repeating what I'm sharing with you, if you keep doing these exercises, that one by one, and then in groups, you'll pull away these disempowering thoughts, and you will have a carousel full of empowering thoughts. And this is one of the key tools to succeeding in life, is understanding how that works. And so I give you these analogies so that you can understand how it's working and why it's working. Hopefully you've been doing your gratitude list. 10 things that you are grateful for. 10, it can be people, it can be things, it can be experiences. Maybe have something like this gratitude stone. What I'm talking about is it skips across there, right? Even on frozen water, if it was, frozen, and I showed you that this is frozen, right? I'll show you on Monday. I showed you one other video, but I'll show you on Monday. I'll hop on here on Monday, and I'll show you that that's frozen. So, even if this stone is bouncing across that frozen water, if this is the big frozen lake, and this stone is bouncing and skipping across as it goes away, every time it hits that ice, it sends a vibration through the ice, and underneath there are ripples happening. And so these types of observations of things in nature help us build our awareness. And it may seem like, oh, well, what does skipping a rock have to do with my day and building my awareness? And it has everything to do with it, but it does not become screamingly apparent until you have done these exercises to build it up. It's like you're pulling a curtain. There's a thick curtain, and you're pulling it open, and at times you get to see through a little bit, and if you are practicing, this is going to open up more and more to where you have a very clear view and understanding. And it's a view of you, and it's a view of the world in a very different way. But if you take breaks from doing these exercises, just like other things, it will start to close back up. And especially if you are allowing your mind to be filled with things from the outside, like the outside news is what I mean. And that's why this is good news. But paying attention to the news is something that you need to do at some points, right? There's value in. I'm not saying that you totally shut yourself off from everything. I'm just saying that the more that you take away the negative news that runs the same thing over and over, and you'll notice they just run it over and over and over, and they focus on stuff that is not considered the good news, right? Good news, your life just got a whole lot easier, right? If you're trimming back the news, reading less of the negative stuff that's out there, and focusing on you, creating a higher vibration for you, affecting the world in a better way, serving your community in a better way, focusing on your health, right? I've done these daily affirmations. I've shown you this, the daily affirmation of health. John Assaraf, he's fantastic. Many of the teachers that I mention as I'm sharing stuff with you are neuroscientists or brain teachers talking about all of this, and I've studied for a long time. So by studying so much, I have shifted my life, and so I'm sharing this with you to share, so that you can share it with anybody else that you want to share it with. Because we must become the change, right? You become the change inside, and then it affects everything around you. And let's see if this is, I've got this where you can read it. I switched the camera so you could read it, right? Love. Key element. So somebody asked me to read this again, right? Somebody asked me to read this again, and I will here in a second. I appreciate all the comments. It's hard for me to... Good morning, Donnie. Good morning, Carol. Good morning, Oren. I see lots of people hopping on. Sometimes it takes a minute for me to see because I'm focused on making sure that you can read the stuff, and then I've got a clear setup here with the camera. I'm actually going to move to another studio here in the Guitar Castle. I will be moving away from this tropical paradise, and I will be doing other shows and other classes with another set of cameras. This one is just a small one that I'm having fun with here, but I'm going to have like it's another whole studio space in the castle here, so stay tuned for that in the coming weeks. I will share a chime over that because it's a pretty cool accomplishment to, you know, keep building and expanding and building and expanding and building and expanding. 3 chimes. Somebody asked about the bowl here. These bowls produce amazing tones, right? And love it. I love chimes. I like music and I like sound, and I was talking about that the other day, right, about why it's important. So here I'm going to read this story, 5 chapters of this story, and I'm going to read it in less than 90 seconds, right? Because that's how long it is, and it's brilliant. The autobiography in 5 short chapters, right? And this is by Portia Nelson, right? I walk down the street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I am lost. I am helpless. It isn't my fault. It takes forever to find a way out. I know this, right? This is my life in 5 chapters, right? I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I am in the same place. But it isn't my fault. It takes me a long time to get out. Chapter 3, right? I walk down the same street. There is a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. And then I walk down a different street. So that, when I heard Dr. Wayne Dyer share that on one of his lectures, I was like, that is exactly, that's exactly what I have experienced. Wow. Profound. And it is a choice. And when I finally decided, hey, I'm not going to put up with where I am and what I'm going through anymore, I'm going to make the choice and shift my life and go down a different street and walk a different way and create a new experience, a better, healthier experience for me. That was a shifting point. And then it was challenging because I didn't have a 60 seconds to Serenity thing that I could tune into. I didn't have a way to tune in all the time. I had to continue to read and try to work my way through it. So part of why I do this 60 seconds to Serenity is because I understand how powerful these tools are. And so I created this so that it can be shared and enjoyed and viewed often, and that you can have the reminder of how powerful these tools are, have the reminder of how to continue working on these. we are planting the seeds in the garden. We've been tending to this soil for a while. If you haven't caught any of these videos, hop on over to on my timeline and check out all of the videos from October. So one of the other things I wanted to share is in talking about circles, right? These fantastic, beautiful round stickers and refrigerator magnets I can send to you. Hey, Allie. I can send you these, right? Because some awesome people have made contributions to the Global Jam for Peace, and I can send you these Global Jam for Peace stickers. And so you don't have to even send me the postage. But if you'd like, you can go on and make a contribution so that other people can get these stickers too. But I'll send some stickers to you if you message your address, the mailing address that you would like, where you can receive some mail. So with that, I'm going to hop off. I'm going to get outside and enjoy this very brisk weather here in Washington, D.C., and then come back into the Guitar Castle and work on the studio with a crew upstairs, setting up another space to do some live broadcast. Have a fantastic weekend. Remember, it's a fantastic Friday, and carry that mindset, your 60 seconds at a time, carry that with you everywhere you are going today. Remember the breathing technique along with your empowering statements. Remember your gratitude. Think peace and love as you go through your day. In each step, take that 60 seconds to focus those emotions and those thoughts in your mind. Peace, love, music. I will see you on Monday for another 60 Seconds to Serenity with Gregg Hammond.